Welcome to the Soul Archaeology podcast, a space for connection, resonance, witnessing, and learning. Together we'll harvest medicine from the spiral of life, sharing conversations with other embodied humans who have navigated their own initiations and found alignment with their true soul essence. With weekly astrology, energy updates, embodied conversation, and channeled teachings, this is a space for you to land and find resonance with the spiral of your own soul. Welcome back to Soul Archaeology. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy to be entering the threshold of December together and just really reflecting. We had Thanksgiving here in the States, and I really just see it as a day of gratitude, which is such a gift to be able to have an entire day devoted to gratitude. And I was thinking about really how grateful I am for this platform, this podcast, this community, each and every one of you who show up every single week. It really means the world to me, and I'm excited to continue to grow this podcast, to continue really to grow community, which is really my intention for 2026, is to build community and to build a beautiful space for us to gather and meet and work through some pretty powerful thresholds together. And that's really what this cohort will be that I'm building. And I know so many of you are on the wait list, and I'm so happy for that. You will get the first notice when the doors open for enrollment. We'll be beginning in March 2026. So this is going to be a super intimate vessel of connection, healing, learning, development, evolution. We'll be walking 2026 together and beyond. This is something I hope to continue every year, because I really think that when we move through these things in connection to community and connection to others, especially as women in particular, we magnify the healing, magnify the growth, and there's just an incredible alchemy that occurs. So hold tight. I haven't announced it quite yet. The doors aren't officially open. I'm aiming for mid-December. Just want to have all the ducks in a row. So if you're on the wait list, you will be the first to know all of the details, and you will be the first to be able to sign up. I have over 100 people on the wait list already, which I'm so grateful for. And I am capping it at 15 people. So if you're interested in a group mentorship next year, if you're interested in working with me, this will be probably the best way to do it in 2026. I'm shifting my private mentorship in the spring. So if you're interested, hop on the wait list. I have it linked in the show notes. But something that is coming up much sooner, on December 14th, I am hosting my 2026 Astrology Forecast Workshop. And I do this every year. I absolutely love it. This year, it's going to be such a beautiful group of people. There are many people that have already signed up. This event is live on Zoom. It's at 10 a.m. Pacific on December 14th. If you can't make that live, I know there are people from all over the world here. And if you can't make 10 a.m. Pacific on the West Coast, it will be recorded and emailed to you directly after. So I have a lot of people that save this recording. They re-listen to it throughout the year. Realized so many different alignments, so many things that downloaded during that workshop that sort of unfold over the year. We also do a quantum journey together, and this is embedded with so much healing. These journeys are so powerful. They're embedded with so much healing. And I've actually had a lot of people reach out and say that they trimmed that portion of the workshop out and listened to that recording of the journey and do it over and over again throughout the year. Especially when there are significant energetic portals, full moons, eclipses, things like that. And so that is something you can do. And touching base with the people that were in the workshop in 2025 2024, but for the 2025 workshop, so much of what occurred in that journey has been manifesting this year. So The workshop has a lot of detailed information about the transits we can expect in 2026, the significant energetic portals. We'll be going into what it means for each rising sign, which can be really helpful to sort of map your year out. I talk about significant dates, significant retrogrades. And I'm also this year, which is something different, I am providing a 2026 forecast planner. It's a PDF workbook that you can utilize throughout the year to plan around full moons, new moons, retrogrades, the specific significant transits like Neptune, Saturn conjunction in February. And it just provides space to really dive into the energy. So that will be sent to you as well. You can have an access to that. And like I said, if you can't make the live event, it's totally fine. Quantum healing works beyond space and time. So no worries at all if you can't make it live. I will be sending out the recording. I just ask that you don't share the recording with other people. If you want to refer someone to this workshop, amazing, but please don't share the recording with friends or family. So one of the most significant energetic imprints of right now, this present moment, this week, is closure. 2025 has been a 9-year in numerology. It's also been the year of the wood snake. It's a year where many outer planet transits are completing. So there are all of these different layers from many different systems, many different ideologies and theories. This is a year of completion, of shedding, of release. I talked a lot about this in the 2025 forecast episode, but this is very much a threshold year. It is a push and pull year. We navigated so much release, so much shedding, so much confrontation of what we're leaving behind, what is needed to be integrated and confronted and released in order to cross this threshold, actually cross it. We've been flirting with this threshold for a few years. 2026 is the year we actually cross it. I'll talk all about that in the 2026 forecast workshop and what that means and why. I won't be doing a 2026 forecast podcast episode because it'll be all of the material we're covering in the workshop, but there's a lot of material here. And 2026 is, like I said, from so many different systems, the beginning of a new chapter. This week in particular, we have the final full moon of 2025. Like I said, 2025 is a year of completion. It's the year of endings and shedding. We've integrated some new. We've gotten a glimpse into what 2026 will feel like with some of the transits over the summer. But for the most part, this is a year of endings. I don't know about you, but with the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, layered with Venus in Scorpio, opposite Uranus and Taurus, the last few weeks have been a light within the underworld. I've felt like I've had a flashlight looking at so much unconscious material. It's been in my dream space. It's been just layered into life. I'll move through something and I'll get this download, and it's just this realization of how I'm participating in something, or my beliefs around something, or how I'm showing up, or just something that I wasn't able to fully see before is being revealed. And it's so incredible because the astrology is literally so literal right now. It's so spot on. It's so accurate. And so wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, this is getting activated. Last Saturday, the threshold between Friday and Saturday here in the States, Saturn went direct. On Saturday, Mercury went direct. That morning, Friday morning, I woke up in this sort of liminal space, this theta space, where I was basically lucid dreaming, but just working with my subconscious. And the material I was working with was all related to scarcity, money, my relationship with money, how my identity is woven into my relationship with money. And lo and behold, Mercury was transiting my first house, and I'm in my Saturn square, edging towards the last phase of it until February. My Saturn square is in my second house, so I'm experiencing this activation around money, this push, this squeeze to really work out these unsupportive patterns around my relationship with money. I was really starting to see the undercurrent, the underlying beliefs within that space. And that's what this energy is good for. We have Mercury direct in Scorpio currently, but it's still in its shadow. Venus on the 30th of this week is moving into Sagittarius. So she's leaving her journey through Scorpio and entering Sagittarius. On December 4th, we have our last full moon of 2025, a full moon in Gemini. This final full moon of 2025 is closing not only the year, but an entire 9-year numerologically. Everything that comes up right now is a part of a longer unwinding, clearing, and karmic completion. Venus enters Sagittarius on November 30th, of course, so it's shifting our relational field toward liberation and truth, freedom, expression, expansion. And then we shift into this supermoon in Gemini on December 4th. This supermoon is activating the lunar nodes, and we're also experiencing a lot of outer planet activations, this kite formation in the sky too. And I'll get to all of that, but I want to talk a little bit about Venus and Sagittarius first. All of November has been this deep scorpionic hole. We have been in the realm of our subconscious. We've been in the basement. We have been in a Mercury retrograde. It started on November 9th, completed on the 29th, but we're still in the shadow for 2 weeks. We had Venus in Scorpio. We had the sun, of course. We had Mercury, and then Mercury re-entered Scorpio during its retrograde. We have Uranus opposing all of this scorpionic energy as well. So it's been thick and dense and nutrient dense and just really, really supportive, honestly. It's been intense for sure, but we need this material. We need this information. We need this data to know exactly what needs to be worked through as we cross this threshold into 2026. I will say something, and then I'll leave the rest for the workshop, but 2026 is the year where we fully embody our co-creator role, our master manifestor's role. With all this energy in Aries, we have to be super, super clear around what we're manifesting and from where, because things will begin to materialize at the speed of light. And so we need to be super discerning around what we're taking in, where we're manifesting from, where we're creating from. We know that is our subconscious. What is in our subconscious? The last month has been revealing in such a deep way what's still there, the debris, the material, even if it's so much of what you've navigated and worked through before. I've had a lot of people reach out to say that, wow, things that I thought I was fully complete with showed up again this month. And that is the nature of Scorpio season in general, but especially a Mercury retrograde in Sag and Scorpio. And with Venus in Scorpio, she was there all of November. Our entire relational field has been in the underworld. We've had to look at the inner workings, our programs, our beliefs, our subtle or not so subtle power dynamics. I've talked to so many people that are just in the power dynamics right now. Where are we manipulative? Where are we controlling? Not from a space of maliciousness necessarily, but just from a space of survival. We, especially women, I will say this, I've worked with hundreds of women in really small, intimate containers, and I will say that I have cleared so much ancestral and past life material around emotional manipulation. And one of my theories is that we, as women, have had to carve out pathways of power throughout history. In most cultures, women have been oppressed and suppressed for centuries. And this isn't, playing the victim card here. This is just facts, right? We didn't even, in the US, we weren't even able to vote until the 20th century. So what's happened is that we carry these imprints of relating that are not actually super supportive. And so these survival mechanisms and dynamics that we've had to develop over the course of history in order to stay safe, in order to have some semblance of control and power. And much of it is emotional manipulation. So I love working with women and really going in and clearing those layers, because we oftentimes are being emotionally manipulative without even knowing it. And it's not coming from a space of darkness or evil. It's coming from just a space of survival. And I see it in a lot of female dynamics, and it's something that really holds us back because we're innately powerful. We are power itself. We are creative energy. And so I bet this Venus in Scorpio transit has maybe revealed where that resides within each one of us, within you, perhaps, that you've noticed over the last month. I know I have seen it, and I'm lucky enough. I mean, it doesn't feel lucky sometimes, but my partner's really, really, really intuitive and psychic, and he can point out when I'm doing it. I can point out when he's doing it, and our Venus and Virgo and Venus and Capricorn work together to bring it to light for each other. So, and this is shadow, right? This is so shadowy. Looking at where we are emotionally manipulative. Gosh, it's got to be one of the most shadowy things for me to look at. And I've really had to integrate that shadow. So Venus leaving Scorpio, entering Sagittarius, she's moving into a fire sign ruled by Jupiter. So this is a big shift. I feel like the shift between Scorpio season and Sagittarius season is so abrupt and so welcomed, honestly. It's so nice to move from water to fire because we get some ignition, we get some kindling, we get some spark of life, we get some energy back. We're moving towards expansion and honesty. Moving away from these really deep sort of karmic and these darker, heavier relational layers, the stagnation or revealing of emotional enmeshment, codependency, into this craving for more space, more play, more fun, more truth, adventure, more meaning even. Over the course of this transit through Sagittarius, Venus will have us revisit our values around truth and honesty, beliefs, freedom, independence, communication. Venus in Sagittarius really wants authentic resonance. It wants love rooted in a shared truth, a shared worldview, shared growth. This transit doesn't tolerate denial or self-abandonment. It's really a cleansing fire for the heart. So this is a really supportive transit. I will say the shadow, because we always have a shadow aspect, is that it can be quick to react. It can be dogmatic. It can be fiery and reactive. But this transit's really looking for truth. It's looking for clarity. It's looking for authenticity. And it's bringing a little more lightness to the table. On December 4th, we shift into a full moon in Gemini. It's at 3:13 p.m. Pacific at 13 degrees of Gemini. And this is the last supermoon in a series of 3 that began in October. It's also the last full moon of 2025, the ending of a chapter, the last full moon of this 9-year, completing a 9-year cycle. There's so many completions happening right now. And although this moon is the ending, it's closure, it's completion, it's shedding, it might not reveal clearly what it is that we're closing. You might not get the closure you're looking for because it's in Gemini. And Gemini in its highest expression is the butterfly. It is open and curious and flexible and fluid. This is activating the mutable signs in such a big way. We have the lunar nodes in Pisces and Virgo. So this full moon is exacting a square to the lunar nodes. So we have this incredible formation in the sky that is activating each mutable sign. This is not a time to make big decisions. This is a time to remain open, to remain curious, to remain flexible and fluid and open. The supermoon in Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury just completed its retrograde in Sagittarius and Scorpio. It's still moving through its post-shadow. So this full moon could bring up remnants from Mercury's journey through its retrograde in Sagittarius and Scorpio that began on November 9th. So this full moon could feel a little retrograde in nature. Gemini is mutable air. It's flexible, open, curious. Gemini rules meaning-making, narrative, perception, communication, mental patterning, curiosity, adaptability. Under this full moon, we really get confronted with the stories we've outgrown, the narratives we've inherited and are complete with. the identities we built from conditioning or programming rather than truth and authenticity, the mental loops we're ready to complete, scarcity, scatteredness, mental overwhelm. This is the unraveling of an old mind so a new one can be born. Sagittarius and Gemini is the axis of communication, learning, understanding, computing, and digesting. It's where we make meaning. Sagittarius is the higher mind. It's the right hemisphere of the brain. It's intuition, deeper understanding, spirituality. Gemini is the left side of the brain. It's ration and logic. Gemini gathers information, like the bee, the honeybee, or the butterfly. And Sagittarius distills it down, it digests it, it metabolizes it into something, into a belief, into a higher understanding, into some sort of truth. This moon is all about holding nuance and contrast and polarity without having to fix it, solve it, or make meaning of it. It's about remaining curious and open. It's about knowing that our truth isn't the only truth, that we need to remain open and curious to navigate the waters ahead. Gemini's superpower is holding contrast, is holding nuance. Gemini's evolutionary purpose is to remain curious, to gather and spread information like I said, a butterfly or a bee, to not fall into certainty or dogma, but to remain open, to connect, network, experience. This is really an opportunity to see things from a new perspective, to expand our awareness, our consciousness, to sort through the chaos and find clarity, to be able to hold duality, complexity, nuance, uncertainty, the unknown, and still remain open and still remain centered. Gemini really holds the sacred task of navigating duality, not to choose a side, but to learn how to hold both. It's the space between contradiction. It seeks connection through contrast. This full moon is forming a wide opposition to Mars and Venus, which are both in Sagittarius, and it's forming an exact square with the lunar nodes. There's also this powerful kite formation in the sky currently between Mercury in Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, and Uranus in Taurus. So there's this grand trine in the air with an opposition to Taurus, to Uranus and Taurus. So this is a mental, emotional, and spiritual integration point. This is a moment when everything clicks, even if our mind can't make sense of it. But something is clicking or collapsing so that truth can emerge. This is the unraveling of a lifetime or lifetimes of stories, narratives, beliefs that are no longer serving. This is the dissolving of dogma. This is the dissolving of the boxes that we put ourselves within when we stick to our beliefs without remaining open to others. With its wide opposition to both Venus and Mars and Sagittarius, this is an opportunity to activate more honesty in relational dynamics, to find even clarity around the people in your life, your values, what you put energy into, a reclamation of voice and expression. This could activate sudden realizations in your relational field. This could activate sudden realizations within your own relational dynamics, your own attachment systems that could bring to the surface your beliefs, where you place your energy, what you believe in, where you hold dogma, or where you're obsessed with being right, being exact, or being the one truth that exists. This full moon is like a hinge. It's a hinge between what has been and what is about to open. It's really exposing the architecture of your mind, your stories, your beliefs, your assumptions, your filters, your narrative identity. Gemini governs perception, and perception governs reality. During this moon, you're going to be shown the places where your perception has been shaped by past conditioning, filtered through fear, or inherited from ancestry, family systems, culture, where you've built this survival strategy rather than conscious choice. It's basically shining a light within our subconscious. And we know a full moon is when the moon is fully illuminated by the sun. It's opposite the sun exactly. And this is the point where our entire inner realm is illuminated by consciousness. We get access to more consciousness when we have a full moon because the light, which is consciousness, the sun, the solar energy, is activating our subconscious space, our inner space. So there's so much material here available. It's important to remember we still have this grand trine in water that continues through the end of the year. So it's supporting emotional alchemy. So the information you're receiving, it might not be just mental. It might activate this emotional response within your body as well. You may suddenly understand why something happened, or why you've been stuck, or why you are still in the same place, what your next step is. Or you might just be confronted by all of this without an action plan, without a new pathway out of it. And that's okay too. Just know that this is a point, this is a time of data collection. This is not a point or a time to respond or react. The shadow of Venus and Sagittarius is that it can be very fiery and reactive. This is a time to sit, to gather information, to notice what's here. We will be hit with major Aries energy next year. The fire is lit. We're moving into a fire horse year. If we can just be patient and gather information and do the inner work and be with what's surfacing, be with what's emerging in real time, be the emotional alchemists that we are, we will land exactly where we need to be at the threshold of this new year. This full moon squares the lunar nodes. We are getting confronted with so many karmic layers, karmic timelines. The lunar nodes are the nodes of karma. They deal with the past. They deal with our karma. This activates the karmic axis directly. And we're experiencing this squaring of mutable energy. So it's showing us where we are fixed, where we need more mutability, where we need more flexibility, fluidity, openness. Like I said, this is the last full moon of this 9-year cycle as well. So this is deeply karmic. We are shedding so much of the past, revealing the parts of us that feel more safe in control, but are perhaps hindering our process of expansion. This squaring is really a pivot point. It's breaking open old mental patterns, overthinking, self-doubt loops, these narratives that we might have built on control or hyper-responsibility or perfectionism with the South Node in Virgo. This is pushing us into trust, faith, deeper surrender, non-linear knowing, the unknown, safety and spaciousness, safety and unknown. Our minds are being rewired to hold more potential, more possibility, more love. And in order to meet the expansion, we have to deal with our contraction. We have to deal with where we need to grip and need to control. It's keeping us small. Gemini, in its highest expression, is curious and adaptable, open-minded. In its shadow, it is defensiveness, distraction, avoidance, overthinking, staying on the surface, collecting information but not integrating the actual wisdom of it. This full moon is pushing us into our higher octave of Gemini. So wherever Gemini lands in your chart, you're going to be encouraged towards this adaptability, this flexibility, this curiosity, this openness. Where are you fixed? Where are you afraid to move beyond the walls of your own mental patterns, your own beliefs, your own walls of comfort and familiarity? This is about curiosity that liberates us. Like I said, we have Mercury, the ruler of this moon, in Scorpio. So this is pretty deep. This is emotional excavation. We could see old fears resurfacing, memories returning, with maybe even new contacts, new information, new perspective, conversations that bring clarity or closure, conversations that are activating. This is about releasing identities that were built from survival, not truth. Releasing mental patterns that were shaped by fear and really befriending our mind. This moon is activating an awakening, clarity of the underworld. Could feel like a light turns on. There might be sudden awakenings, realizations. This is meant to liberate us from the mental loops, because we know our mental constructs form our reality. And we know we're going to be manifesting at the speed of light in 2026. So now is the time to tend your mental landscape, your belief systems. And I love so much that I pulled for our Soul Archaeology community the B card from the Untamed Elemental deck. And it's all about defiance. She is the hem of the flower family, a social insect of intricate memory and impeccable taste. Physically speaking, she should not be able to fly. Yet she defies the laws of aerodynamics, winged magnet of nectar and holy diviner of ambrosia. Bee bathes in pollen and spreads her message far and wide. Bee moves beyond her limitations, her life an object lesson in overcoming the impossible. Often our life's momentum originates from the harsh push of our fears, rather than the magnetic pull of our dreams. When this happens, we succumb to our collective histories of limitation. B says that this is your time to express healthy defiance. Streamline your behavior to reflect where you're going, not where you've been. Sip sweetness from the flowers that speak directly to your heart, rather than the ones you are drawn to by habit. And like the bee, you will be magnetically upheld on a trajectory to success. When it's balanced, you feel like you have sustained focus, joyful effort, bold breakthroughs. When it's imbalanced, you might have a fear of failure, a barren of hope. To bring into balance, hold a boundary that protects the momentum towards your vision. And I love this card so much because we were just talking about how the highest expression of Gemini is the bee, and how these transits aspecting this full moon are here to liberate our minds so that we can move beyond our own walls of comfort and familiarity, our own limitations. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. As always, thank you for your presence. Thank you for sharing this podcast with friends and family and on social media. It truly means the world to me. I am so excited about next year. I'm in this closure with you. I'm shedding so much and having so much revealed. And there is a lightness and levity here that I haven't experienced before when confronting these pieces. But I'm wishing you all a beautiful full moon. I love you all. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week.